program, the podcast where we try to get you into a band. That's right, we've done all the work for you. All you have to do is push play. And today, my oh my, we're going to be planting some seeds. Old Johnny Appleseed, if you will. It's the Appleseed Cast we're talking about today. And we just said this just before we went on, Ryan. You put them up on the board a while ago. So tell me about the Appleseed Cast and why it is that we needed to talk about them today, and why you're here to talk about them.
Yeah, so this is one of those bands that I discovered in high school when I was finding out about all those quote-unquote Midwest emo bands like Braid, The Promise Ring, Penfold, loud guitars, loud vocals, kind of busy drums, and really gravitated towards that sound. And these guys were just one of those bands that I thought were kind of very similar, at least early on in their career. But calling them just an emo band is almost disrespectful because they evolved into like a much more experimental band with like a post-rock ambient sound, and they really leaned into that, and you can really hear a true evolution in their sound throughout their entire career, and they're still playing. I just saw them a few months ago. They're opening for Sunny Day Real Estate, and they still sound great. I mean, and I remember back in the day, their album Low Level Owl 1 and 2. I remember that getting a huge rating from Pitchfork back when Pitchfork ratings actually meant something.
You're already hitting on all the points that I was gonna say. So, but you mentioned busy drumming, so let's swing it over to Joel. Joel, this is your first time here. You kind of got roped into it, sort of. I think you kind of on a post you said I might be convinced to do Appleseed Cast, and I was like, do it. So, talk to me about Appleseed Cast and why is it that this is your first time here?
Yeah, so Appleseed Cast is pretty much my favorite band, right? That confusing thing to say because like it's very rare they've been like the actual number one slot. Like my favorite band is like you have like a top 5, but Appleseed Cast has been following me around and been in like that top echelon for 20 years at this point. And part of that is because they've employed a great number of my favorite drummers, like 2 of my favorites ever, Josh Cobra Baruth on Mayor Vitalis, Low Level Owl, and 2 Conversations before he left the band. And I was very sad when he left because that dude was like a huge influence for me, one of my favorite drummers. But they replaced him with one of my other all-time faves, which is the drummer from the Casket Lottery, another Lawrence, Kansas band, and that's Nate Richardson. There's 2 Nathans in that band. I think they referred to him as Nate Jr. But another like really interesting drummer, a lot of that ghost notey work, a lot of use of like the full kit, like getting a lot of different sounds and doing really cool stuff without being like overtly shreddy. So just really cool stuff throughout there. So I did not find out about them until they'd already put out 3 albums. There's a local band that I saw. It was Ready to Fade. May they rest in peace. When I was talking with someone who was at the show kind of about that and how much I really liked like the stuff they were putting out at that particular point. Like, oh, you should check out Appleseed Cast. And while I don't think he was right in his comparison, he was definitely right in the fact that I would fall in love with them. So I kind of like bought from like Deep Elm, like in bulk, like End of the Ring Roars, Mayor Vitalis, and then the Low Level Owl stuff, like all in one fell swoop, and just consumed that aggressively for years.
Yeah, I don't. Okay, so anybody who's listened to this show for any length of time has heard me make reference to a local band called Long Division. A lot of times when it has a mathy type sound. This is the first time where I heard it and I was like, oh, there they are. Are you the only one in the band that digs these guys? Because I feel like it permeates the band's sound.
So that's an interesting point there because like for me it's like a big thing. For anyone else in the band, wasn't really so much. So some of that stuff I think was hitting on similar influences to a degree, but like Doug actively hated them for a little bit, but came around on them. I think there was someone he didn't like in high school who like loved one of them, and he's like, no, I don't like it because of you. But I don't think no one was intentionally cribbing from them except for me. Like me, definitely. So if you're hearing the drum work there, then yeah, for sure, total plagiarism. But like this, it's wasn't a big thing for that. At least not in like the original stuff. Andrew got really into them like kind of again after I joined the band, and I think even bought a guitar that was made by Chris Creasy,
Mm.
like a clone of one of his. So, but he never really wrote like very Appleseed casty parts to me. But a lot of what you're hearing in this that sort of stuff is I think us kind of drawn from the same sort of like not necessarily them specifically. This for early on.
It was interesting to me because like I I feel like I caught onto it quick, and
Yeah.
as you mentioned the drums, like I immediately go, that's why Joel wants to talk about this band. I get it. So this is clearly a band for me, like most that we're going to be doing at this point in the show's existence. I had no idea who they were. I hadn't even heard the name other than when Ryan suggested that we talk about them. But you guys accidentally made me hate you because all of the reasons that have kind of been mentioned already. Like I I kind of was late to. Again, I wholeheartedly agree with Ryan's assessment of calling them emo or even pigeonholing them to just the Midwest emo thing is disrespectful, because they definitely expand past that. But like I was a late entry into the, like I was late even into something as mainstream as Jimmy Eat World. So like just coming around to this, like just finding this now, it's like this band is kind of the sweet spot for me. So I'm a new ear to this. I think it ends up being 98 songs. Ryan, like as you're looking to put together your 20 for this, like how do you approach it, knowing that most people are probably on a level that I am?
Yeah, that's kind of how I approach this one, because I have a few very definitive songs, and I definitely think they're, well, we'll see, but I really hope they're on your list. But a lot of the older stuff is, like I said, you can see they matured, they grew into a different type of sound, but I think it's just as good as some of the earlier stuff. So honestly, right before I got on, I was still adding songs to my list. So I think I started with 32, 31 or 32. And I was still checking and crossing them off 5 minutes ago. So we'll see how this one goes.
Now, Joel, this is your first time here, and I always try to emphasize the idea of, and not everybody takes this advice, mind you, but I try to emphasize hey, we're trying to turn somebody on to this band. Did you take that into account as you're putting your first 20 together? And how was your process? Did you find it difficult?
Yeah, I took that feedback into account to an extent. There's certain things that there's tried to make sure I was like digging on stuff that I would have put on like a playlist. So there's certain numbers where like I love it, but it's definitely not a way to get someone into the band. Or we were talking even a little bit before the show how there's certain ones where like, oh well, there's like I like this particular song, but I like it like, in the context of the album. So if I'm just trying to turn someone on to it, they don't have history with what makes that song interesting, or like oh yeah they do like one of these, like there's like a song that's always kind of like this on an album, but like with this is my favorite version of that particular thing they've done. um so it was definitely trying to keep the listener in mind. But there's still stuff that I gravitate towards as part of the band. So what I'm recommending them may not be the same parts that everyone else is gravitating to. I mean, or like the super early stuff where they're still kind of splitting the difference between like Sunny Day Real Estate and like Mineral versus as they're coming out of that and then kind of even revisiting again after getting really experimental, they kind of dialed it back down. Kind of over the course of the career before getting weird again.
So it's funny that you mentioned that, because one thing I kind of left out because I wanted to leave it for here is, number one, obviously trying to keep the listener in mind, but number two, like trying to figure out exactly what do I want to tell the listener, because there's times, like especially on the first record, where they're doing the emo thing, the Midwest emo thing, where it's like, man, that's great, like yes, like these immediate slap in the face, this is what we do. And it's like, cool, yes, more of that. But then I found myself, like, I was mowing the lawn the first time I tried to start going through this playlist, which was a mistake because I found myself like stopping a lot to like really hear what was going on. But like I found myself like 15 seconds, I'd be like, okay, I like this, but I'll give it 5-10 more seconds, and then if it doesn't really grab me, then I'll be out. And they wouldn't do like the thing in the 10 seconds, but in that 10 seconds they would earn like another 30. And I cannot count how many times that happened. Is first 15 seconds is like, okay, I like it, but, and then they would get another 30 seconds. And if you give them that extra 30 seconds, I'm not kidding when I say that this is arguably one of the most rewarding bands that I've ever listened to on the show, because if you give them that time, they will rope you in, guaranteed. So my trouble was finding like the balance between let me get you right immediately and here's the stuff that will really reward you if you give them the 45 seconds. So I tried to find that balance, and then, working in, what I thought was truly experimental, like what I thought was like kind of like neat without stepping too far away from being musical. So it was difficult, man. Like I think when I was almost all the way through the first time, I told you guys I hated you the first time, and then I realized I had only trimmed out half. And really that was because I was being harsh. Like I had 47, I think, after my first pass. And like I said, there was a lot of harsh cuts on that first one, just because you can't take everything. So then on my next pass, it's like being even more critical. Like there's ones like both of you have mentioned that I kind of gravitated towards. I was like, okay, this feels like a gimme. Now, whether my gimme is the same as your gimme, we'll find out, which leads me to the next question. Ryan, it sounds like, at least in temperament, at least in thought process, we're all in the same place. But what do you think we will get through unanimously?
Like a particular song you're
No,
thinking?
I'm sorry.
Or
Like how many? Yeah. How many songs do you think?
I have at least 3 that I will be pretty upset if they're not unanimous.
Uh-oh. All right. So you want to go with 3 for the final
Yep,
say?
I'm going with 3. Yep.
Okay. What do you think, Joel?
I think I bet you I have the same 3. Like there's 3 that if they're not there, I think we're probably going to end up yelling at each other. I think that we're probably going to end up agreeing on like probably max 5. After that, it's anyone's game after that, because it's like there's like I'm not going to be heartbroken about any of these because these are all great songs. Like there's like 2 songs that like I'll ever skip from them, and even those are good songs. And if I stop skipping them after a couple of years, I'm like, oh wait, there is something interesting going on here. It just didn't speak to me for that particular time period. So, but yeah, definitely 3. If not, this is gonna get fun.
Part of it that's tough is kind of what you were saying before, is that a lot of their stuff works in the context of the album.
Mm-hmm.
That it can be tough to just pick out one song and say, oh yeah, that's one someone should listen to, because even when I was listening to earlier, it was actually on Low Level. The song had actually finished, but it segued into another song that was just as good. So it's hard to just pick, especially on that album. That album's like once you kind of figure out if you like the band or not, you should definitely give that one a full front to back listen.
What were you saying before we went on, Joel?
I was telling Justin that the exercise here is actually kind of like moot for me. I mean, it's still super fun. Like I love it, and I love making playlists for people. But like normally, if I'm recommending this band to someone, I'm like, listen to Low Level Al, and if they don't like it, then fuck them.
Yep. Well said.
All right. So do you want to go with your official answer as 4? Because Ryan already took 3.
Oh, we can't double down on that. Then I'm going to go optimistic and say official answer 5, and I think it's really dicey for 6 through 10.
Okay. Well, so then do I take the split between with 4, or do I go the asshole route and go like 2, or do I go ultra optimist? Because that's possible.
Bob Barker did just pass, so I think that you should make your highs without going over in honor of him.
Yeah. go optimist and split the difference. You know what? I am gonna Price is Right, but I'm gonna go the other way. I'm gonna go 1 over you, Joel. I'm gonna go 6. Let's go optimist here.
All right.
Let's do some optimism. Of course, that's for the final say. We're going to take a quick pause. When we come back, we're going to find out if any of us are right, and we're going to get you into the Appleseed Cast. Stay tuned. It's the program. And with that, the name of the game is Deprogrammed. The three of us have come through the Appleseed Cast discography and plucked out 20 songs that we're now going to mash together in an attempt to create a top 10 starter kit for you, in case you have never given the Appleseed Cast the time of day. And it's hard for me, anybody who listens to the show, and if you come on the show after having listened to the show, you know one of my go-tos, but like I love when you can tell me exactly what you are in track 1, album 1. Tell me what the band is and get me in and let me go from there and grow from there. So I got to do it with this band because I knew I was in trouble immediately when I heard Marigold and Patchwork.
I have that one.
That's a yes for me.
Hey, there we go. Oh, the sweat rolling down. I thought, oh, dang it. All right, so hold on. While it connects back to my computer, there we go. Pretty immediate. I knew I was busy drums. Unique. I say unique. It has that Midwest emo guitar jangly. I was like, okay, I'm gonna like this a lot. This does not bode well for me. So there we go, though. One in the bank already. I'm into it. All right, Ryan.
Yeah.
I'm gonna go with. Well, I guess I'd consider this a newer one, but it's off Illumination Ritual. Cathedral Rings.
That's a yes for me.
No. Wait, I'm looking at the wrong. No. I was looking at the wrong record, but that's a 2. Cathedral.
Yeah, that is my favorite cut on that particular album.
Oh, for sure. It definitely has shades of the old stuff, the older material with a, more mature sound to it. But yeah, I love that song.
Yeah. They've been playing that one on the last couple of times I saw them live, and it's really good live too. It jumps off the page a little bit more. That's a fun album, or it's an interesting album. And I guess when we get another song from, we can probably spend more time on it. But it's got like there's some things that I really like about that, and there's some stuff where I feel like they just didn't quite figure out everything. But no notes on Cathedral Rings. I love that one. It's got a really good chorus.
Mm-hmm.
I feel like that one was on my first pass, but like, what am I saying if I had 47 of them? So
yeah.
All right, Joel.
All right. Let's. I'm gonna go with an even newer one. This is my wife's favorite song from them, and it was I actually got to see this one. Like, I did not know this song that they were playing. I think they were opening for Cursive at Elevation 27 in Virginia Beach. And like, I was like, wait, what? I don't know this one. Like, is this like, are they writing new stuff? Like, I had no idea they're coming out with a new album. That song, like, it's very rare for me to see a band and like have them play a new song when I'm like kind of expecting to go through deep catalog and have it like grab me. So that song was really good live with no context, and then hearing the recording of it, I was like, oh yes, it's this one. I'm very excited for an album now. And that's Time the Destroyer, off their latest one, The Fleeting Light of Impermanence.
I got it.
I have that one.
Hey, there we go. 1, 2, 3. Just like that.
Are we going to end up in a situation where we end up matching all 3 on like 20 of these and then having to make ridiculous decisions?
It's only happened once, friend, where we had AJR, we got 13 unanimous and had to cut 3 at the end of the show.
Oh, some real Sophie's Choice action there.
I will say, though, Time the Destroyer, so this is yet another band where, like, you get deep into the catalog and you expect, like, the big drop-off. And I don't think they did that, but I definitely was very picky towards the end of the discography. And this one, you mentioned on the last song, Left Off the Page, like this one I kept coming back to. You know, I listened to it like 3 or 4 times, and I was like, I was looking for a reason to cut it, but like I kept coming back to it, and I'd listen to it and be like, okay, well, it still made it. So, well, I heard it again and it still made it. Oh, well, it's still here. And so finally I was like, why am I looking for reasons to cut it? How about I just let it stay?
Yeah.
That was one of those ones I had that I was talking about 5 minutes before the show. It's the last one on my page that I added in.
Nice. Not a bad first round, fellas. All right, so let me jump to the second record. Just find out what's up. How about Fighting the Sky?
Fishing the Sky?
Oh, Fishing the Sky, yes. Sorry, I can't read my own writing.
I've got it.
I got it.
Love it.
That's one of my 3 must-have on my list.
Yeah. Yeah, we're closing in. I think I know what the other 2 are.
Oh,
I'm
you
gonna hold
know
my
what the
tongue.
other 2.
I wish I could read. I should probably learn how to do that.
I mean, there's dispute over there's one song title. We'll see if this song shows up, but like the copy of my album is different from what it's listed at on streaming services. So I'm like, hey, what's going on here?
So by the time I get to this record, like I'm already mad because like the first record, like this is obviously different from what's happening on the first record, but not like ridiculously different. But it's like busier. It's like I'm like, so this is gonna get harder. Thanks, guys. Like this was the first, because I knew I was in trouble by the end of Marigold and Patchwork. I knew I was in big trouble by the end of the first record. This song comes up, I'm like, okay, this is gonna be a long day.
Yeah, this record is when you can really hear they're starting to tease that post rock sound, but they still have the early aggressive emo sound still going on.
Yeah. So this is when they actually moved to Kansas. So they were originally from like San Diego, I believe, and like I think even the original name like it was a Sunny Day Real Estate reference, and it was December's Tragic Drive was like their original band name. So like they were still like hard, like just like capital E emo like for the first one, and they moved it to, I don't know why they moved to Kansas, but they did. And the producer they worked with on this one, Ed Rose, they also did for Low Level. I might be making it up that they did Mayor Vitalis with him. Someone should fact check me on that.
He did.
Okay, cool. So it was like all the stuff they did with him. Like he had such, I think, an outsized impact on kind of helping them find like their particular sound, like and what was great about them. And not an episode for Deprogram, but I think Chris Creasy and Ed Rose did one band together. I think it's called 100 Hands, a little 5-song EP, and the first song on that album is so good that it actually makes me think like the other songs are good, but the first one was like perfect, and so I pretty much just listen to the first track and then skip everything else.
Well, we're already at Ryan's 3, and we've only done just barely over 1 round, so I don't know. Maybe my 6 ain't so bad. I mean, maybe not. All right, Ryan?
All right, well, I'll go with the next one. Forever Longing, The Golden Sunsets.
Amen.
Yep, I got it.
Yeah, that's 2 of my 3 that I was saying have to go through.
All right. Well, then we'll go ahead and we'll break the tension on that one if if you're ready for what I think the third one is.
Look at that. We're already past Ryan's 3. Beautiful.
Yep. All right, what's the third one here?
Yep.
I'm going with On Reflection.
No, but I have that on my list.
Okay.
I can't bring it in, but because I don't have it. But obviously at 2 at this point. Let's see, is it? Like I said, I can't remember my stupid buttons. It's not Shift. It's Alt F? No. I should know how to use a computer by now. I think it's Control, isn't it? Yeah, there it is. What was it called again? I'm sorry.
On Reflection.
On Reflection. All right, so that's a 2. Look at that. Nothing in the bin yet.
No. And I think me and Joel have had a match on every single one so far.
Yep, I'm the only one who's missed, who has not been on one. Okay. I don't know where to go. How about Innocent, Violent, Ordinary?
Is this
I
one
have that
cute?
one.
I also have that one, and that's the one where I think it was originally Innocent, Vigilant, Ordinary. That's what if I went through like a rabbit hole like Google searching. I'm like, wait, that's not the name of the song. Like, even though it says it on Spotify, I'm like, I'm right. I can see it.
Right.
So I have no idea why it changed.
I have a written one way, crossed out, and written the other way.
Interesting. I wonder, guys, holy crap. 5 already? Wow.
Yeah, this is gonna be fun. I can't wait to tear these things apart.
Because if we get more... Oh, we're halfway there. Still so much game. There's still so much gameplay. I don't know what I'm worried about. There's still so much to go.
Yeah.
All right. Ryan?
I'll stay on that album and go with Fight Song.
Yeah.
Yeah, this is the one I was mentioning before the show, Justin. I for some reason this song doesn't like do it for me, and I'm aware that I'm wrong, but I knew that everyone else was going to pick it, so I used my slot for something else.
There you go.
Yeah, that was my my number 3 of 3. I really do like that song.
Yeah.
All right. Well,
everyone else does. There's something about it where I'm like, but I like their other stuff so much more. But it's
that might be like a hair
song.
conversation later, depending on how we do. So nothing in the bin yet. No pressure, Joel. You're up.
All right. Let's crack into this album. This will be the first one at that one. February.
Yeah, I got it.
I don't have that.
All right.
Which album is that on?
That is off Peregrine.
Yeah, Peregrine.
Oh, okay. Yep.
All right. How crazy would it be if we somehow, even if we don't get any more unanimous, if nothing hits the bin, that would definitely be a first. Again, no jinxes, but that would be wild. All right. I feel like we've got all my favorites already out. How about Steps and Numbers?
I have that one.
Yes. That's a yes for me as well.
Oh. Okay. I was really worried we were going to go the other way with this. Like, I was really worried that we were all going to be over the map and not be able to find each other, but clearly not the case.
Right. Well, it's probably a good sign that you're kind of the new listener, and then the two guys who have been listening to him for a while, you're all matching up with us. So I guess we have a good grasp on their discography.
This is what's good about it.
I think the thing is, I think this bears repeating, because even if we somehow don't match on anything else, like, these songs are the ones that jump out. It is worth repeating. This is definitely an album band. Definitely, if you dig any of these songs that we pick, if you dig this playlist that we put together, it isn't. If you are an album person, give everything a listen, because you're definitely going to want that. All right, so Steps and Numbers was me. Ryan, you're up.
Song 3.
Oh, it's a great choice. I don't have that one though.
Oops, I should learn how to type. I do not have that one.
Ooh, First Trash Can.
Yeah, that pretty much was number 21. I wasn't sure. There's another song that I did not cut that I was going to replace with it, but so we'll have another one in the bin because of that decision.
There it is. Peregrine as well. But, I mean, for us to go this late before our first bin song, not bad. All right, Joel?
Let's see this one. This I don't know that we're gonna get any traction on this one, but this is one of my favorite songs on Mare Vitalis. That's like the obviously Fishing the Sky for Along the Golden Sunsets are perfect, but this one jumped off at me at the back half of that album just for being so different, and it's Kilgore Trout.
Oh yeah.
Oh, okay. Well, I'm glad Ryan has it. You just talked about like song number 21. I don't know if it was that late of a cut, but it was definitely like one of those last couple where I was ripping my hair out going, I hate these two. I think I may have cut that one and then messaged you guys that I hate you. So
appropriate emotion.
But that is a recurring thing with this band is I found myself loving a song, and for whatever reason, convincing myself that I didn't need it on my list. Kilgore Trout is like the perfect example of that because it was there, and then suddenly it wasn't. I was like, all right, well, I guess it's gone. Stuff's got to go. Okay, back to me. How about The Summer Before?
No, I don't have that one.
That is a no for me as well.
All right. So now we've cooled off some. Again, no pressure, Ryan. I mean, we're doing great, but we are in a bit of a slump. You're up.
Ice Heavy Branches.
I think that was another late cut from me.
Oh,
that was Two Conversations.
Yeah.
Yeah, I do not have that one. I was oscillating on my Two Conversations picks quite a bit. That one's got really interesting drums. It's a really cool song that I just did not pick for this list.
I think we're at that part of the show. So let me just see. Actually, let's finish this round. Joel?
All right, let's see. We'll go for another weird one here. Let's see if you have this one, Justin, since you were going off that album. So we'll try another one from Sagar Martha. As the Little Things Go?
Nope.
I have that one.
Hey. So that's a 2. Still
I'm
very
kind of
much alive.
so on that album. There's a few good cuts on there, but I don't know if I wasn't paying attention to them too much around then, but I do like that song a lot.
Yeah, I mean the album's kind of it's interesting. From what I've read, they had to do a lot of work to get that one presentable. Like they were recutting a lot of the songs, so there's a lot of those extended outros kind of make more sense after hearing that. So I like it as an album, but it's very hard for me to like kind of pick a track from it most of the time. But I think As the Little Things Go is one that really shows off both their ability to do like lush instrumental soundscapes and kind of what Chris is like at his best vocally when he's given that effort, like in a pretty decent vocal cadence. He's not settling into kind of one of his well-worn like verse shreds. It's just a good complete song.
I think like now that I'm looking at that record, I think I fell into the same thing that you guys are, because I only took 2 from there, and some of these other ones I think it just kind of fell into maybe I was paying too much attention to the record as a whole and not in individual pieces, because I don't know. I guess we'll get to it, but let's see. What do I got here? 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, 9, 10, 11. I've got 11 left, so there's still gameplay. We've got 6 through unanimously already, with 6 in the discussion. So we actually have a discussion as well, and we're sitting at my 6. I don't want that responsibility. So let me see if I can find you guys again. How about Doors Lead to Questions?
No, I don't have that one.
I do not have that one, but another great song.
Justin's pick leads to questions. All right, Ryan?
Santa Maria.
I did not have that one.
No, me neither. That one's familiar, so it must have been a late cut. I don't know where I dropped it.
That's one of the instrumental numbers on Mare Vitalis, right?
I think there's lyrics.
I'm trying to think.
Oh,
Oh no, Mare Mortis is the one that I'm thinking of. Santa
yeah.
Maria is like you wanted to go to you wanted to
Yep,
see the
yep.
show. Yeah.
All right, Joel.
Let's see here. This one's kind of a weird pick. It's actually like it's a really different one for me because I think it's mostly just on the strength of the vocals. It's a pretty simple song, but I really love it on Low Level Out. It's a Reaction.
Yeah, I got that.
I don't have that one.
Oof. The pressure starting to mount up. I'm starting to feel the weight of like this decision being on me.
I'm excited for this.
All right. What do I got left from there? How about I'll go to Low Level Owl. How about A Place in Line?
No, that was a late cut for me.
That was one that I loved that I did not choose because of the tactic of trying to make them slightly more accessible.
I think was my mindset too because I have it crossed out.
But Justin. Okay.
But Justin, excellent choice. Just great choice. Glad you love it. I think it's just proof.
Oh, there we go. All right, Ryan.
Yeah, see, that's what I mean. That album's tough. It's hard to pick. I guess I'll throw one of my other ones off that album, Blind Man's Arrow.
Love Blind Man's Arrow. It's on the list.
Oh, I don't have it. But that one, again, was one of those super, super late cuts. Like one of those ones that I was wrestling with.
I just love how that one is like, it's not like heavy, but it gets you right out front, like as heavy as you can kind of be on the front of that album, and then goes kind of a completely different direction. Just like that big like unison start, and then kind of like reestablishing it kind of rebuilds after that. Like just another great song.
All right, Joel.
We'll stick with that one for a little bit. I'm hoping you'll have this one, A Signal off Low Level Owl.
No, I don't.
Me neither. Cannot save.
That was my one I was least confident about on that album.
All right. So at this point, maybe we do one more round and then we'll do the dump out. Good Lord. I need to not have this pressure. How about Adriatic to Black Sea?
No.
I do not have that one.
Boy, I did so well, and now suddenly I'm out in the middle of the ocean by myself, or the sea, as it were, by myself. All right, Ryan?
I have one more on the first album, Antihero.
Yeah, I got that.
I did not have that one. I love that song though. It's like that's a great 1-2 punch at the start of that album, with them showing off the speed right after.
Right, they have a lot of good, I think, like 1-2 combinations on their albums.
Yeah, absolutely.
Well, not necessarily 1-2. Well, I guess 1-2, but they have like groups of 2 songs that are very strong.
Yeah, and both songs. Like this is a great, instance where it's like each song works on its own, but also together they work even better. So, all right, Joel.
All right, let's see here. I got an additional one off their latest album, Chaotic Waves.
No.
No, I don't have that one either. But if I recall correctly, that absolutely made my first pass for sure. Again, what am I saying? 47. I'm not sure where it dropped off. All right. So I'll just start at the top here. I'm not feeling very good of of eking out one last unanimous. 16 Days?
Nope.
Nope.
Yeah, I didn't think so. Dreamland?
Nope.
Dreamland's an honorable mention for me. I don't have it, but it's got that really cool, like that big guitar chug, like some Texas Azure's and stuff there. But it didn't make the final cut.
And then last one from that record, Portrait.
I have that one.
Hey.
I do not have Portrait.
Okay, so move on to the next one. From Mari Vitalis, Storms.
Yes. I have
Interesting
that one.
choice. I did not have that one.
Song really reminds me of like Sparta, like that kind of sound.
Yeah.
I like it as I think it's an album closer.
Yes, it is.
Yeah.
It's funny you bring that up because there's a bunch of points where, like, especially on the first record, where I was getting like a At the Drive-In vibe, like especially earlier At the Drive-In. So, next I got two left. Ceremony.
Yeah, I have that one.
I do too.
Oh my God.
That was not one I was expecting to be unanimous.
Right. Why do we
That is
wait?
hilarious.
Why do we wait so long on that one?
We were all afraid the other person was going to have it.
Oh, the weight's lifted off me.
It was the de facto like instrumental choice, right? It's the 4-minute one instead of the 7-minute one.
Mm-hmm.
What's funny is John F. often says, "Well, why don't you just not have a choice like not?" But I just don't think it's fair to put that kind of pressure on the guests and not myself. There we go. All right, 7 through. Whew, okay. Woo. And my very last one is An Army of Fireflies.
Nope.
I did not have that one.
All right. So that puts me out, and that puts us at max unanimous is 7. So none of us will win. We will have to converse our way down to the last 3. Do you want to try to make it harder here, Ryan? See if you can land a couple?
I don't think I have. I think I only have one left on my list.
Oh.
Let me just get a.
That'll make it easy then.
Here, one. Yes, Sunset Drama King.
Oh, that's a great song. I did not choose that one though.
Yeah, that's. Let me just double check, but. Yeah, that's all I got left.
Wow. Which means you should roughly probably be in about the same place, right, Joel? Just
I think I had so many unanimous ones. I think.
Yes. So
and then was
for
swinging
fun?
and missing on after that.
Yeah, just for fun, we'll dump out whatever you got left.
Yeah. So I actually had Peregrine from Peregrine, which was not like that one was like not. I had finished my list a while ago and then started listening to the albums again, and that one just I was like, oh man, I just thought there was just more on that album than I thought that I liked than I thought. So I had Peregrine there. Did we say any? I don't think we said Rooms and Gardens on Low Level Al, but that was another one that I had.
No, that was a late cut for me.
Yeah. And then I had a Bright Light from Sagar Martha, even though I have no defense of that. I think most of the stuff, like there's definitely stuff they have that's better than that. I was just trying to
Yeah,
little diversity
like
there.
Song maybe.
Yeah, potentially. And then I had Hello Dearest Love, which I oscillated between that and Ice Heavy Branches, so didn't get the one there.
Yeah, I like that one too, but no, I don't have it.
All right. So, that being said, let's sort this out and see what we got here. Through unanimously, we got 7 fellas. Marigold and Patchwork, Fishing the Sky, Forever Long the Golden Sunsets, Steps and Numbers, Innocent Violent Ordinary, Ceremony, and Time the Destroyer. We have 11 that we need to trim down to 3. So we've got Antihero, Portrait, Kilgore Trout, Storms, On Reflection, Blind Man's Arrow, Reaction, Fight Song, February, As the Little Things Go, and Cathedral Rings. So I'll ask you first, Ryan. Is there one that's kind of jumping out at you? Is like, man, we really probably should have. That should have been unanimous.
Well, it was one of my three was Fight Song. I know Joel has a undying hatred for that song, but I'm only teasing. But yeah, I really do think that's an early. Well, I guess it's not even early. I mean, it's 2003, but it has that early sound, like the slow build up, big anthematic ending. Um, I don't know if I'd fight for that one as hard as I would probably for Kilgore Trout. I think that one should be on there.
I was gonna say, I while there's a lot here, like I'll let you off the hook. Like, Fight Song is one of those ones where I just like, again, I know I'm wrong. I was trying to get something else into the conversation. So I think that one probably should be on the list. Like, I am the odd man out on that one. So I would actually push for Fight Song to be on
Yeah,
that list
that was
as a
just one of
proper
my
representation from that album.
right. That was just one of my early songs when I first found the band, and I was
Yeah.
really into that sound, and was definitely. I mean, like I said, Fish in the Sky, Forever Long, and the Golden Sunsets. Those were up there for me, and I'm glad those ones are through, because I think that's a good representation. Along with Fight Song, I mean, they are kind of fairly similar in a way, but it's definitely definitive of their sound. I know we talked about Cathedral Rings as that. I think that's our only representation from that album, I think.
It looks like it, yeah.
Yeah, and that's my thing is like that album is like that album is like there's not really any bad songs on that album. Like it's a good album, but it's just not like their best work. I think that's one that they recorded like on their own. So even I think there's even some things where I think the songs might be better than they sound on the record, but it's just that production isn't up to what they're normally doing. Like they've got, just perfect production on most of those albums there, like once they kind of get rolling, like all the cool stuff they're doing on Low Level Owl, all the tricks they're using to kind of spice up the songs on like Grin, and then Cathedral Rings is just kind of straightforward, like totally good songs. I'd be pushing for these last two slots. I think the ones that would make me sad if they're not on here, even more than Cathedral Rings, would be like Kilgore Trout, like was mentioned, and then like On Reflection is like my all-time favorite from them.
All right. So, well, let me ask this question because Kilgore Trout, obviously I mentioned as it came up was like that one was 21, 22, like it was super late and there really wasn't a reason. So I'm okay with putting that one through. But before we do we care at all about representation? Because if we do, Mari Vitalis has 2 already. This would be the 3rd one from that. If we don't care, then obviously I'm cool with that. And strangely enough, this would only, On Reflection, would only be the 2nd from Low Level Owl.
Yeah, I mean, what are you thinking, Justin? Is there one that jumps out to you, or?
Well, like I mentioned, like Kilgore Trout was like that one that I really, really wrestled with. So like to me, it feels like I could be talked off of it just because if we care about representation. If we don't, then obviously it spoke to me enough to where like I felt bad for cutting it. So to me, that one's jumping out.
I don't care about representation that much. That's also my favorite album. And as soon as that one didn't get passed through, I put a little star next to it.
Okay.
So that's definitely one that I think is one of their better songs.
So let's do Kilgore Trout, and then that way we're just working on one song. I liked both Antihero and Portrait, but I don't know that we need anything else off that first record. I do think I think we'd be silly not to put another Low Level Owl on there.
Is it really only one from Low Level Owl right now?
Yeah. That's kind of crazy.
Steps and Numbers, that's it.
I mean, Steps and Numbers definitely needs to be there. So I mean that's one of the ones that it's funny. Like On Reflection was the one that I had. It was like my 3, like, yeah, On Reflection, this song's perfect. I'm like, oh no.
I mean, it's on my list. I'm not gonna battle you against that one. I mean, that album needs more representation, but like we've said a million times, that album needs to just be listened to front to back. Yeah. It's tough to just pick one, but On Reflection and Blind Man's Arrow were my other ones from that album. So
Yeah, I love
I'm
Blind
fine
Man's
with
Arrow too.
On Reflection.
I would have to put On Reflection above Blind Man's Arrow.
Yeah, I agree.
All right, so let's take that as number 10 then. That way we're not, we're not getting heated here. I mean, it doesn't sound like it's getting heated, but that'll be our number 10. There we go. So we got Marigold and Patchwork, Fishing the Sky, Forever Longing the Golden Sunsets, Steps and Numbers, Innocent Violent Ordinary, Ceremony, Time the Destroyer, Fight Song, Kilgore Trout, and On Reflection rounds out our 10. Now, of course, we have to ratchet up the heat a little bit more because one of these songs will go on to represent the band in the Best Of episode next year. So of those 10 songs, Ryan, which one do you think is the one?
The toughest question of the whole episode. Again, I keep referencing those first 3 songs I heard, and Forever Long in the Golden Sunsets was that song that drew me into the band. So that'd probably be my pick.
What do you think, Joel?
Yeah, of the ones that were unanimous, and I think we're definitely looking at either Forever Long in the Golden Sunsets or Fish in the Sky.
Yeah, I mean, I couldn't even choose really between those two. Just put them both
and
on there.
it's really just yeah, that's a real King Solomon there. So can we split the songs in half and stitch them together, sort of like Island of Dr. Moreau style?
So
can we do Forever Longing the Sky?
So I'll say this.
Or Fishing the Golden Sunsets. That's a much better name.
I like that.
It was right there. I missed it.
I will say this, that John is usually on the Best Of episodes, and I bet you there's a good chance that John will like this. But there is practically a 0% chance that this gets Fredo. But my inclination is to lead with Fishing the Sky because, like I said, that was the point where it kind of they fished me. They I got hooked. And then they lead right into each other. If I recall correctly, like they're back to back on the record, so maybe I could put them back to back on the playlist. So you listen to Fish in the Sky, then you listen to Forever Longing.
You guys are both talking about it exactly the same way I'm thinking about. Like when I got that album, like it was the way that Fish in the Sky started with those really different drums, like rolling in, like the bass line's really cool, like and kind of like off kilter. Just great that song, but like after I spent time with the album, like Forever Long in the Golden Sunsets I just love that song just a little bit more, even though like Fishing the Sky I think is like probably like the easiest sort of like set hook, like you said.
Yeah, I don't know. Justin may have just convinced me because I played the beginning of Fish in the Sky in my ear real quick, and I was like, man, that opening guitar riff, like you said, kind of like off kilter drums. There's a different bass line going on. It's just yeah. But no, I do think Golden Sunsets is slightly better.
I mean,
because it has that cool drop out to like the almost like
oh yeah, like they're
the
getting like room drums there before it kind of
right.
kicks back in. Yeah, in the
back,
end, like the
huge anthematic ending.
Yeah.
So I mean, it's really what do we want to? We've got one chance at getting somebody. Do we want to hook them, or do we want to present the band as a whole? Because if we want to present the band as a whole with like the whole thing, it probably is Golden Sunsets. But I also think there is something to presenting essentially 1A. See, we would be presenting to anybody who's actually listening to the episode 1A. But on the Best Of episode, they would just be getting 1. They wouldn't get 1A. Because they wouldn't have listened to the episode. So they wouldn't know, hey, you should definitely listen to this song as well. So how much of that do we want to encapsulate into our decision?
Yeah, I don't know. Like I said, I'd almost flip a coin at this point and be satisfied. I think my vote is still for Golden Sunsets.
Stop. Too loud. man, yeah. It's not like you need Fishing the Sky for Forever Long in the Golden Sunsets to work, right? It just makes it better.
Yeah.
So I think I'm with you guys. Let's go with Golden Sunsets. Oh shit, don't drop that. Number 1 is Forever Long in the Golden Sunsets. And 1A, unofficially, is Fishing the Sky. Let me switch over here. And then we've got Marigold
Those cool
and
song
Patchwork.
titles as well.
Yeah. Then
Sorry,
we've
what
got
was
Steps and Numbers, Innocent, Violent, Ordinary, Ceremony, Time the Destroyer, Fight Song, Kilgore Trout, and On Reflection rounds out our top 10. Let us let Forever Long in the Golden Sunsets get a moment in the song. Now that we're listening to it again, we definitely made the right call, because this song was stuck in my head for like a week after I finished my first pass. Yeah, I think we made the right call. Let's not question our decisions here.
No.
This is definitely one of the ones that had its time in the sun as like my favorite all-time song from them. At some point, there was a live video I saw of On Reflection where things changed, where like I think we're like playing like Russia or France or something like that, and like it's just a really, really great version. And I didn't even realize like they hadn't been singing the entire time. So then he just comes in kind of at the end for that last triumphant chorus, and it was just, oh, I didn't even notice that he wasn't singing. It was just like a killer song. So On Reflection overtook it at some point, but I think at one point, like at a job I had, they're like, "Hey, bring in your favorite song to work," and I pulled in Forever Long in the Golden Sunsets, and then everyone stared at me like, "The song's really long." I'm like, "It's 3.5 minutes.
Get over it.
You guys are old. You brought in the Grease soundtrack, and you're making fun of me."
More on that to follow. If you would like to hear what this conversation springs, you can listen to it on After the Fact, which you can hear by going to patreon.com/oh hi Justin. Pledge $1 a month. You get the After the Fact. You get Deprogrammed Before the Rest of the World. You get some sparse audio content, as I can get and record it and release it. That's when and where it will happen. That would be greatly appreciated. If that isn't your bag, hey, I ain't got $1 to spare, dude. I understand. Times is tough. You can easily just subscribe on any podcast platform. I would appreciate that greatly. If you're listening on Spotify, 5 stars would be awesome. If you're listening on Apple Podcasts, 5 stars and a quick review of how awesome we are and how great our list is, that would be super, super awesome as well. Of course, the best way you can help is by telling somebody that you listen to the show. Hey, I listen to Deprogrammed. You could too. I would appreciate that more than words could ever say. You can also join us in Discord. That is one of your perks if you pledge to Patreon, is you get different access to different channels. So that would be cool. legionofstupid.com is a place you can go to listen to the show and find a link to our Discord. And you can also, if you want to come play on the show, you want to come submit a list, you can go to legionofstupid.com, click podcasts, go to Deprogrammed, scroll a little bit down. There's a sign-up sheet. Tell me what band you want to talk about. If it's one we haven't already, I will get you in as soon as I can. There is a log jam that I'm working out. And once that's worked out, the episodes will come flowing free again. But with that, the Appleseed Cast. Learn them and love them, people. We'll see you next week. Bye.